Hello everyone, this is PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski. Welcome to Meet with Moraine. I think you're probably really familiar with this program by now. Every month we meet with someone from Moraine Valley Community College, which is in Palos Hills, right around the corner. And they tell us all about their wonderful programs. They give us insight as to what students and parents or adult people who want education at the school can look forward to there. Hopefully you've been over there because it's quite beautiful, especially this time of year. We're really lucky this morning to have with us Dr. Sylvia Jenkins, who is the president of Moraine Valley Community College. Dr. Jenkins, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So nice to have her here. She has been at the college for 36 years, which is a remarkable length of time, and you've seen a lot in that 36 years, I know for sure, because I've been around for that long, watching the transition from not much to spectacular. And she is the 5th president and has been president for 11 years. So you've seen a lot with the college. Could you tell us something about how you started at Moraine Valley Community College and how that kind of kept you going? What interests you that you eventually became the president of the college?
Okay. Well, you know, I was fortunate enough when we moved to the Chicago area in 1986, we had young children, and I had worked at another liberal arts college in Virginia before we moved to Chicago as a librarian. And when we came to Chicago and not knowing the area that well, I decided to look for a part-time librarian's position at a college, since that was my experience, and found a part-time position in the Chicago Tribune in the first Sunday in December edition. And it was at Moraine Valley Community College. And I applied for that position and started there as a part-time librarian. And I worked as a part-time librarian until 1988 when a full-time library faculty position opened up. And I was selected for that position and worked as a full-time faculty librarian for 14 years. But during that time, I also had the opportunity to work on lots of different committees on campus, different projects on campus, which gave me an understanding and a connection to people all across the campus. So in 2001, when the position became available for an administrative position, the college had received a Title III grant to develop a Center for Teaching and Learning. And I applied for that position and was selected and became the assistant dean for that area. And then one thing led to the next, and then dean of academic development and learning resources, which included both the Center for Teaching and Learning, online learning, and the library. And then in 2010, I was selected to be the vice president of academic affairs, which was an even bigger job, more complex. But because I had been at the college for so long and had worked with so many faculty members and got to know our students, who our students are, what types of resources our students need, the job was a lot, but enjoyable. And then 2011, when Dr. Vernon Crawley, who served as our president for 21 years, announced his retirement, I thought about it, prayed about it a lot, and decided to apply for the position. And in April of 2012, the Board of Trustees selected me as president. And some people ask, why did you stay at the same institution all of those years? Well, as you've said, Moraine Valley has grown over the years. The college is 57 years old, and it has done remarkable. But it's not just about me, it's about all of the people who worked at the college. Just as you've mentioned, you've had a lot of people on your show to talk about the programs, the classes that we have to offer. So I felt very good about the opportunity to become president, and I've always said every position has given me an opportunity to help more people. So that is my basis for doing it.
Now that is, I mean, you've grown with the college. You know, you took on a lot of leadership roles, and you've learned and then gone to the next step. And I think sometimes when you have a lengthy career at some place, you've been able to, you have the history with the school, and you know what you'd like to see in the future. And I think that's really a special ability to be able to do that, to go forward and not go jumping from place to place.
Yes, the consistency is good.
It really is. Plus the fact is you do know the staff, the faculty, you know, you've got a lot of good connections with people to get what you see as valuable going forward. That is remarkable, and I'm glad you had so much success. And it's interesting, and I think it's good for young people to hear how you started as a part-time person somewhere, and then that developed into something else as time went by. I think that's really important to know.
Yeah.
I think sometimes young people think you just get that job.
Correct.
And I'm the boss.
Correct.
You know, it doesn't work out that.
No.
It doesn't work that way, really.
No. And even now, I say to faculty members as they're teaching our students and other staff members who work with our students, tell the students your story, because sometimes at 17, 18, 19 years old, they don't see that trajectory. You know, so let them know that you were there at one point. When I was 17, I had no clue, you know, had no clue.
Right. None of us do, really.
None of us do. But, you know, you listen and you learn, and you have good support and mentors to teach, you know, you pattern yourselves after the good things that you learn.
That's right.
Yes.
Exactly. And that is good to share. Everybody does have a story about how they got started, and it's interesting to find that out. When you look back on your years, what kinds of things are you most proud of? A couple, 2 or 3 things that you're most proud of.
I'm proud of the fact, you know, this last 10 years as college president, and this is my 11th year, we've had a lot of challenges to say the least. All of us, the whole world, lived through a pandemic. And I tell people all the time, I've taken a lot of classes, have many degrees, but not one book have I read about how to manage a college through a pandemic. So, but then you rely on the common sense things that you learned before the pandemic. And you rely on the good people and realize you can't do this job by yourself. So with all the challenges that we faced over the last many years, you realize we have to work together. I said from the beginning, I don't have the answers. We're figuring it out as we go. There were days when we would talk, think we made a decision about something, and then we'd have to regroup and say, oh no, that's not it. That
didn't work.
That didn't work. That didn't work. Let's start over. So, but you know, I just kept saying to people, let's have patience with each other. Let's have grace with our students. If we're having a hard time, can you imagine how hard it was for our students? So let's think about them. And so what I'm most proud of is the fact that on this side of the pandemic, we're still here. And we're doing very well. We still graduated students. Students are still enrolling, still completing their classes. Faculty and staff are still working. We were able to reopen, and most of our classes are back in person. We didn't have very many cases of people getting very ill. There were some people who lost family members, unfortunately, but as far as I know, we did not lose anybody that is actively working at the campus right now, because I think of the measures that we took to try to keep people safe. Some of the decisions we made, some people weren't happy about, but at the same time, it was about safety first, you know, taking care of each other, and then making sure that our students were in a good place.
Yeah, that was, it was just a trial by fire kind of thing. Everything you went through, everybody else was going through.
Yes.
In the school and education system, it made a gigantic impact, and you know, administrators, teachers, everybody just tried to, how do we navigate through this for students? Yes,
correct. You know, and we have a lot of classes where it's hands-on. You know, you can't learn how to be a nurse or respiratory therapist on a computer. So you have to be able to touch people, work with people. Thankfully, we have quite a few simulated labs on campus, so they were able to do some of their clinicals in a simulated format, but they needed to come back in order to be able to do these things in person. They needed to be able to go into the hospitals and actually see patients and work with patients, work with people that are already in the profession, work with nurses, work with doctors. So we were able to do that by extending the semester for some of our career technical education classes that could not complete all of their coursework in a virtual format. On the other hand, many of the transfer courses, liberal arts courses, they were able to finish the semester virtually. We allowed students to take pass-fail rather than a letter grade if they didn't feel comfortable doing all of their work completely online. We handed out laptops, we handed out hotspots, because the first thing we learned, some students may have a cell phone like we all do, but you can't do a lot of coursework on a cell phone. So we handed out laptops, and then some students couldn't afford internet at home. So it's not just about having a laptop, what about the connection to the internet? So we opened up our parking lots, put hotspots there, or we loan mobile hotspots to students. And everybody on campus came together. The bookstore staff figured out a way to deliver books through mail, or they walked them out to the parking lot. People who didn't work in the bookstore came over and helped to hand books out to students, because in the beginning we didn't know where the virus was, how it was transported. So we were trying to do everything to make sure that the college kept going. We extended spring break week, that March of 2020, to a second week. So faculty who were already teaching online came in that week and taught other faculty members who had never taught online before how to use Canvas, which is our learning management system. They came in that week. It was a crash course. How do you teach? So, you know, it's not the ideal way, but at least it kept students in class. And I was proud that through our marketing and communications department, we were able to still do a graduation. It was virtual, but we did one. The following year, we did another one virtual. Last year, we did a more in-person one, and this year we're going to do in-person again. So, which is, I'm very, very happy about. But, you know, even before the pandemic, there were always some issues that we've had to deal with. State budget issues. We were 2 years without a full budget from the state, so then we had to figure out how then do you continue to provide services to the students, make sure that we still have enough faculty members that can teach our students. So that's when we put our heads together and say, okay, so these are the things we need to do. Some things it's nice to do that we don't have to do, but it's important that we have faculty in the classroom, that we have staff here to support our students, and we were able to continue to do that. One of the largest programs we have on campus is our adult basic education, general education, high school diploma programs. And that was one of the grants that was not funded those 2 years. So, but we decided, and along with the support from the board, to use reserve funds because it was important. You know, people who need our help, the reasons why community colleges were established in the first place was to help everybody. We are open access institutions. So it wouldn't make sense to cut off an opportunity for the people who are coming to us that need the most help. So our board supported my decision in that, and we were able to continue. And so we have not missed a beat and had high school equivalency graduations every year, even with or without state grants. Because we did that, the state recognized our work, and then the following year we were able to get an increase in the amount of money.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, yeah, because it's based on how many students you actually serve. So I'm grateful now that, you know, people are paying attention, more attention to community colleges and the value that they offer to everybody. So one of the opportunities that Moraine Valley needs to explore more is to expand our career technical education spaces on campus. We have lots of good space on campus, but it's mostly what we call chalk and talk. It's just a classroom where teachers are teaching, but the hands-on career technical education programs is what we need to grow. We have an automotive program, we have welding, we have HVAC, we have a fire science academy, we have a cybersecurity academy, internationally known cybersecurity, but all of those programs could grow even larger with a larger physical space and an additional curriculum. So I'm hopeful that the next president and the board will continue to invest in the college and grow those programs. We have a very robust dual enrollment programs with all of our high school districts. I work very well with all of the superintendents, and they encourage students to start at Moraine. It's a good place to start. Good place to start. Not only financially reasonable place to start, but also academically. A lot of students are not prepared or ready yet to go away to a four-year college or university. And then we get a lot of we call reverse transfer students in the summer. Those who do go away and then come back to Moraine in the summer. Some go away the first year and come back to Moraine. And even last week, I had a student who said, you know, Moraine wasn't his first choice. He really wanted to go away, but his family couldn't afford it. And now that he's about to graduate, he doesn't want to leave. So
That's a good thing.
Yes, that's a good thing. So we hear that story quite a bit, but I think it's all due to the faculty and staff who work at the college, who make it a welcoming environment. That's important.
It's very important. So this is a tremendous amount of value and changes. So you've had a lot of technology changes through
Yes.
time that wasn't even available.
Correct.
So you had to keep up with that, and some of the automotive and the HVAC and all that kind of program, getting people certified to do that, that
Yes.
wasn't in it originally either. That would be a pretty big change.
You know, the career technical education has grown over the years, which is a good thing. Students need to be better prepared. We talked about our cars earlier. You know, my car, if I say Google, it starts talking to me, you know. So then we need to have students who are prepared to be technicians on automated cars.
Yeah.
So I've worked long enough. When I finished my master's program in library science, we didn't have a computer. Everything was done with paper and pencil. And so as I have learned, and professional development is important for everybody, I've learned how to use a computer. I took my computer classes at Moraine. I was a student too.
You've been on both sides of the desk.
Both sides of the desk. The first computer class I took taught a little bit of Word, a little bit of Excel, a little bit of another software. I only know a little bit of everything, just enough to get me by. But it's important that we have these opportunities. So over time, the college has expanded with technology. We had one internet drop in the 90s. Now we have an internet drop everywhere you go on campus. So you can see how much we have given
to the technology.
Correct.
It's really important.
It's very important.
And I think we did learn how important some of that is with the pandemic.
Yes.
Like, how are we going to communicate with our students?
Correct.
And that was huge.
Correct.
Very important. Well, with being at the school for that period of time, that's a long time to see changes and increase the growth. I mean, look at the building. I don't know if our viewers have been there lately, but there's beautiful structures there now. It's a huge, beautiful campus, and there's lots of opportunities. And we've had enough people on our Meet with Moraine show, faculty members, they're just amazing. And the care and commitment to their jobs and making an impact on the students and getting them to where they need to go, even if it's not in their course of study.
Correct.
Maybe we need to shift you over here. They seem to be very helpful to students, young students who don't really know what they want to do.
Correct. And as I mentioned earlier, being an open access institution, many times we get students, this first generation going to college, they really haven't had the vocabulary at home about what is this all about, filling out a financial aid form, how to register. When you go through high school, you're pretty much given your schedule. Now you're in college, you get to pick your schedule. And so a lot of students are just not prepared for that. So it's left up to us to help them. And I use my own experience as a 17-year-old. First time I walked into a library at the college that I went to, I didn't really know how to ask the question, and the person who was supposed to help me didn't help me learn how to ask the question. So I've always kept that in my mind, that when our students come to us, They may not know how to ask a question, but we are there to help them to learn how to do that. And sometimes you have to answer the same question over and over and over again because we have many students who come with this, the lack of knowledge. But they're there. If they're there, that means that they're interested. Let's see what we can do to keep them engaged. Our marketing department came up with an initiative a few years ago called Agree to Degree. And we all signed pledges. And my pledge is that I'm going to do what I can to help our students get to the degree or to the goal that they came here for. The students signed pledges to agree to degree. That means that I'm going to do what I have to do to make sure I get to that degree. And because of that, our completion rates have increased. Moraine Valley's completion rates are some of the best in the nation. We were recognized as one of the top 150 community colleges in the nation by the Aspen Institute a few years ago. And that's pretty much based on the numbers of students that are retained from semester to semester and complete. And so I'm very happy about that. There are things that we lobby for on the federal level and the state level. One of the things that we have been pushing for a number of years is how we count our students. So many of our students are part-time because they're adult students, have family obligations, work obligations. I met a young woman a few years ago who's in our automotive program who works 40 hours a week at Pep Boys, and she comes to take her automotive classes at night. So what we're pushing for is that the federal government recognizes the fact that they don't count our students if they're part-time. We have to do what they call full-time equivalent. So if they're only taking 6 credit hours, then you need to have 3 students at 6 credit hours to become as a one full-time.
Wow. Okay.
So which sometimes people don't quite understand. So even though we may have 11,000 students registered, we may be 5,000 full-time equivalent. But 11,000 bodies are actually there, And so what we're pushing for is for the federal government to change how they categorize us. So they're getting there. Another way is the funding through Pell Grants. We have students who come to us who only need short-term certificate programs. Right now, Pell Grants, that's the federal financial aid, won't fund those. So we have students who can't afford to pay out of pocket. They want to be a truck driver, so the United States is saying they need more truck drivers. Well, help us to help those students to go through, to get that CDL.
Right, they're trying to get a job and do well at it too. Correct.
Yeah. So those are things we lobby for on the state level, more funding for higher education. So, it's a gamut of things I could talk about. But
it's a huge job. I mean, it really is. And so speaking of that, here you are, you're the first female president of Moraine Valley Community College. How did that impact you as being the first female? Did it change anything, or do people react to you differently?
It depends on the situation, to be honest with you. But I was fortunate enough to go through quite a few women's leadership programs. Another good thing about Moraine Valley, if you want an opportunity, if you want to further your education, if you want to participate in professional development, we have it on campus, but you can also take advantage of opportunities outside of campus. So I had a chance to go through a women's leadership program years ago, and then a second one for women of color called Kaleidoscope. So I've learned from others who were there before me, and it was all about knowing who you are. And my mother, who was my best inspiration, she lived till she was 96, and for the first 9 years of my presidency, I would call her every day and talk to her, and she would and she'd give me good advice. And she taught it. My mother was a school teacher in the South and taught in segregated schools, and started teaching in a one-room schoolhouse. And she would tell me about the fact that she didn't have anything to teach with, but she taught the children how to read and write with the rocks and the birds. So,
she's very creative.
Very creative. So I always thought, if my mother could teach children without anything, look at all the resources I have. And irregardless of my cultural background, my sexual background, my race, God has given me this opportunity to help other people. I'm not going to let anything that anybody else might think deter me from doing that. So being the first female president, I've always said to people, don't let anybody stop you from achieving your goals. And I've had lots of women in my life to give me that encouragement to keep going.
Well, that's good to support, get that kind of support.
Yes.
But also have within yourself the knowledge that I can do it.
Correct.
I can learn it. I can do it. I can
Correct.
be the best president of the Moraine Valley Community College.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yes. And
That
remembering who we're
confidence.
there to serve.
Right.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so the Board of Trustees recently named the Moraine Valley Library in your honor and
Yes.
surprised you with this. But
Yes.
now I was going to ask you, why would they have done that? But
Now you know.
but of course, I
Yes.
mean, your background was library science.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Correct.
So how did that make you feel that they would do that?
I mean, I was floored. I mean, honestly, I had no clue. So every year, the College Foundation we do employee giving campaign, and this year the employees gave over $90,000 toward our scholarship fund. So this is our employees giving back to the foundation. And I wanted to recognize a department who gave the most money this year, and it turned out to be the library. The library department gave the most money. So I asked the foundation, could we do something to recognize them? So during National Library Week, they decided to do a recognition of the library. So unbeknownst to me, they also decided to include the naming of the library on that same day we were doing the recognition of the library staff. So I was there to recognize the library staff. And then when the board members, and I'll tell you a funny story, our board chair showed up with a tie. I said, "You have a tie on? You never wear a tie."
What's going on?
Just going on? But it still didn't dawn on me. It didn't dawn on me.
No, it wouldn't.
It didn't dawn on me. And so it was absolutely a wonderful, wonderful surprise to me. And I'm very grateful for that honor, very grateful. Yes, the library has been close to my heart. As you know, my major in college was English education. So when I did my student teaching, I taught 11th and 12th graders Shakespeare, and I figured they didn't want to learn it. My minor was library science, so I figured that was a better path for me. So therefore I went on to get my master's in library science.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, it served you well because
Yes.
look at what you've accomplished
Yes.
in your life, and what a wonderful honor it is to
Yes.
have that library named
Yes.
in your honor.
Yes, it is.
That's fantastic.
And my grandchildren were surprised. They said, "Grandma, you have a building named after you." I said, "Yes,
I do.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
that's
yes.
awesome. Yeah, I bet they're pleased. Okay, so now you are on many. I'm sure you're on a million, boards and committees and all of that. But you are on the Illinois Council of Community College Presidents, and you are involved in the League for Innovation in Community Colleges, the American Association of Community College Board of Directors, and, I mean, really big, you were invited to the White House for a College Opportunity Summit by President Obama. So, I mean, these are great involvements, honors. It's a lot of commitment to what you do. I guess, people want to know, how was it to be invited to the White House to, be in that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was really fantastic. First of all, for community colleges overall, to be recognized at that level. Sometimes it's the way people perceive higher education. We've had a lot of bad press. Is college worth it? Is college worth it? Well, in President
That's
Obama's administration, he made sure that the message was, yes, college is worth it. And so it was a wonderful experience for us. We had a whole day of speakers. President Obama spoke it was quite a few of us there in this big auditorium that they have in the Eisenhower building, I think it is, it's connected. And so it was fantastic. But I felt really good about the fact that I could come back to Moraine and say to them, we have a national presence. We have a national presence, and wherever I go to represent the college, it's about the college and the students we serve. So I always want to make sure that people know about who we are.
That's That's a tremendous honor, and very valued. Now, when you leave, and you are retiring.
Yes, I am retiring on June 30th at noon.
How many days?
And the reason why I tell people that's a funny story. Mara's probably laughing back there, but it's because we close at noon on Fridays.
Oh, that's right.
And and June 30th
That's
happens to be a Friday. Yes.
Okay. Well, on June 30th at noon, we'll think of you walking out the door, and it probably won't be the last time you enter Moraine Valley to say hello or give your advice or be part of the whatever organizations you're in.
Yeah. So I, as college president, I sit with the foundation board of directors in their meetings, and so last night they voted to have me as a member of the foundation board.
Oh, wonderful!
So that will be my connection to the college after I retire. Yes.
That is wonderful, and you have so much to offer. With the experience that you've had, I think you're really a really valued asset to that board.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. They do great work raising scholarship money for our students, and people who give scholarships, I can say to them that 100% of their scholarship money goes to the students, and because the college picks up the administrative costs of running the foundation. So many times people give to organizations, and so much of that dollar goes to the administrative costs and not directly to the student. Our scholarships go directly to students.
That's good to know, because if there is wanting to give, they know it's really helping a student out.
Yes.
Is there any thought about what would you want people to think of? What would be your legacy as you leave Moraine Valley?
Well, when I was selected to be president, and the installation of my presidency, when I wrote my comments, I said that we're here to serve. We're here to serve our students, our community, and each other. And I feel very good about the fact that I think I've lived up to that. And I think the faculty and staff that I work with every day have lived up to that. That's what we're here for, to serve each other. That's the only way we can advance the college, by helping each other, to serve the community. And I like the fact that we still use community in our name. Some colleges have elected to drop the word community. I think it's important to keep it because this is who we're here for, the community. And then the students who come to us, irregardless, those who are ready, those who are really ready, and those who are not ready. We're here
everybody.
For everybody. We're here for everybody. So we're a welcoming institution, and we work hard making those decisions. So I just I think there's more to do. It's never ending, but at the same time, I feel very good about what we have been able to accomplish.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
And a successful, wonderful career at the college. And we wish you a wonderful retirement.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming in today.
Well, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching us today on Meet with Moraine, and we'll see you next month with some more interesting Meet with Moraine information. Bye now.